welcome to the Deepening place. I'm here today with my great friend. Hey, Ren.
Hey, what's up, Angela?
Nothing much. It's so exciting to have you on the podcast today.
Oh my God, I'm honored. Thank you.
I thought we could start out by telling people a little bit about how we met. I don't know if you want to go first.
Why don't you go first?
Okay. When I was probably 19, I think I was 19, I took an adventure, left my home and family and packed up my car with just what I owned and probably my tip money. And I didn't even have a place to live. I ended up in Ren's hometown. I was going to take part in a minister's training program at a large evangelical church. Ren had signed up for the same program, and we got to know each other and became friends. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes.
And that's where you lived, though. You were from that town, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised I was born in Baton Rouge, but raised in Baker, which is a small town.
From there, our paths diverged, and you're one of these people that is always and has always been in my heart. And you're one of the people that when we get together, it's like no time has passed. That's how I feel about it.
Likewise, Angela, you've made a deep imprint on my soul when we spent so much time together back, I guess it's been 25 years ago or so, maybe even 30.
Yeah, no, it's like actually 30. Oh,
don't even say it. But
God, I know. I can't believe I'm that old.
But yeah, no, we're linked, no doubt.
Yeah. Right after I got married in 1991.
I know. I sang in your wedding.
Yeah, I know you did, but I'm telling the people listening that. I thought maybe we should sing a little bit, maybe for another episode, right?
Good one, yes.
It wasn't too long after that I went to Russia for a few months and stayed for a while. And then I don't know really what happened to us. And you might have a better perspective on that. Because right after we got back from Russia, we left Baker. So we weren't there that much longer.
Well, I just, I kind of disappeared from the religious map of the South at that point in my life and just really kind of just went off on my own adventure, right? To sort of rediscover myself and experience life out there in the big wide world.
Yeah. I think it's fair at this point just to kind of let the audience know how I perceive you, and then maybe you can tell how you perceive me. I think one of the reasons that we're doing this is because one of my foundational things is we all have to learn to meet in the middle, tell the truth, have conversations, love each other. And so I think you are fairly liberal, but because of your Southern upbringing and all, I think you have a certain compassion for people who are conservative. You don't really buy into the narrative that everybody that's conservative is evil.
No, not at all. In fact, most of the people I love are conservative.
Yeah.
Most of the people who love me are conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You live in California and, maybe would fit that liberal stereotype in some ways. But unlike a lot of people who are liberal, who only know other liberals and think of, conservatives as crazy, flag flying, whatever.
Freak flying.
Yeah. I think, there's a lot of variety there. There's a lot of variety.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it is what makes the world go round.
Yeah. So tell me, what would you say about me?
Yeah, well, I remember I actually spoke with you, I guess it was about 10 years after we said our goodbyes when you went to Russia. And we reconnected and we talked on the phone for, I don't know, maybe an hour, right? Like we hadn't seen each other in so long and we had both really changed a lot by then.
Yeah.
Yet it was very apparent that we still had a connection. And I think the reason for that is because we are alike in many ways, probably more than you would care to admit, but but no, we just, you and I, we had a great connection from the very start. And I think the reason for that is because there's a certain part of my morality that overlaps with yours. And I was quite pleased to see that reflected in you. There was no getting rid of me, really, at that point. So, you're just a solid person through and through. You understand what love is. There are so many conflated definitions out there of what that word means, but I think I have always perceived that word as an action verb, and I think that you do too. Yeah. And I think that is the seed of our connection.
You're a very intuitive person. You always see me. And even if I'm not actually, living up to who I want to be, you know who I am. And you give me that grace to make mistakes.
Yes, I do. And you do the same for me. And I'm so grateful for that. I just love you. I
love you too. I do. Now we just need to work on getting you to Texas. That's what we need to work on.
I know. Look, girl, I've got both fingers crossed that opportunity will arise in the near term. So
yeah,
that
would be awesome. We could karaoke every weekend.
Oh my God. What a dream.
Yeah, we got to live the dream, girl. All right. Now, do you have the whole point of this? I mean, the deepening place, my vision for the deepening place is to talk about subjects and topics people lose their minds over in a civilized manner. In the old days, people used to talk about things.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they weren't screaming at each other in all caps on the internet. They were actually sitting at a table.
That's right. Yeah, the expletives weren't flying. Having said that, I'm going to allow you to pick whatever topic that seems important to you or something that you saw on the news or whatever you want to talk about today.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess the topic is really hot and heavy in the news right now. It's the whole pandemic controversy, right? The documentary that was, that everyone's seen the trailer for. Well, not everyone, but, most people online who are screaming in all caps.
Yeah, they've seen it.
Yeah. And so, it's obviously pretty controversial right now. And I think that you and I we haven't talked about it, but I think you and I may fall on opposite sides of that line.
Okay.
Just regarding our opinions about it and feelings about it.
Well, I think full disclosure, I went online. By now it's been taken off of everywhere, but I did some reading about it. Mm-hmm. And I am familiar with the lady who was featured in there a little bit. I had heard a little bit about her story before. So I kind of feel like I know the gist of what they were saying. I can't say I wasn't exposed to it at all, but I didn't dig into it like I normally would. I just wanted you to know I did not watch the episode, nor did I watch the trailer, but I read a little bit about it.
Oh, darn it. Okay. Well, I have a link to the trailer, which I can share with you after.
So go ahead and say what you came away with. And if I can't respond to it fairly, I won't respond.
Yeah. Well, so just to recap, Plandemic is the vignette I saw was a 26-minute, what they're calling a trailer, eminent full-length documentary that's coming out soon, I think this year. But it was
the thing that was posted is a trailer of a larger something that's coming out later.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, got it.
And it promotes a specific theory regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. And the video features a medical researcher and doctor named Judy Mikovits. And the video, it spread pretty rapidly and virally on social media, and it garnered millions of views. And so it's been one of the most watched pieces of coronavirus information to date. But it was removed by various platforms, including Facebook and YouTube and Vimeo and Twitter, over its content. It has definitely become controversial. It is controversial. And people have dubbed it a conspiracy. Most of society has been conditioned to have sort of a knee-jerk reaction to the term conspiracy.
Yeah.
And it's sort of used in a derogatory, I mean, most of the time when you hear it used or see it written, it's used in a derogatory way, right?
Right. Yeah.
To discredit something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she's highlighting what she believes to be a conspiracy. And the internet just went nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, mainstream media. I mean, it's pretty much a collective rebuke from all of these outlets of the content and her claims, which are that, Dr. Fauci and many others are somehow involved and or actually orchestrating this massive, cover up.
Like it's a for-profit kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. That all of this sort of delay and testing and everything is just a way to ensure that the public the delay in testing and also the stay-at-home measures that the quarantining we've all been doing is a way to lower our immunity, and that will ultimately result in our needing a vaccine for
It'll
this.
be so bad we'll be begging for some kind
Exactly.
of vaccine, and then somebody's going to go to the bank.
Exactly. And so this is going to be held over until whenever it is that Fauci and his team are able to create a legitimate vaccine within which she claims he has financial stake. If it's true, it obviously would be a conflict of interest and an expose of a major cover up, right? So, it remains to be seen if she is telling the truth. The problem I have with it is that so many people and organizations, news outlets, etc., social media conglomerates, they are trusting that Dr. Fauci is telling the truth and pretty much shutting out the possibility of her story being true, and no one's really questioning things, right?
Wait. This is where it gets good, girl.
All right.
You're telling me that that's the problem you have with it?
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the problem?
You're telling me that the problem you have with it is nobody's really digging into it to see if it's true. They're just dismissing it as a conspiracy theory.
Yes, because perhaps it's always been this way, and I was never of the mindset to hold media accountable to a rigorous standard and had lazily pushed my trust to them. But their approach thus far has been dogmatic and very much in line with every debunker to a doctor who dares to challenge a paradigm. And I'm all about challenging paradigms. It's in my background. I've been an activist. Basically, they're using their own paradigm to discredit a challenge to it. And this is nonsensical, and it fails basic logic and epistemological standards. And so there is a possibility that she is wrong, yes, but not for the reasons that anyone has offered up so far, in my opinion. I mean, has anyone considered what the repercussions would be if she were right and we ignore it?
Well, I will tell you, I am really shocked right now. I did not really expect this, that we would be on the same side.
Oh my God, are we on the same
This
side?
is like the fail of our controversial. No, that's really good, because what it does is, I mean, this is what I advocate for every week, is that we are so far over on the extremes of belief that we cannot come to the middle and have a conversation.
Right.
We're so attached to our beliefs. I looked this up because I heard it had been banned, and I'm like, has it really been banned? When you enter it into the search now, everything that comes up is telling you how awful it is. The Wikipedia entry is telling you that it's a conspiracy theory,
Yep.
totally debunked.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, that is scary to me, that we're not having journalistic integrity, or we're not upholding journalistic ethics. If we care about the truth, we're going to ask those questions. We're going to figure out, is that true? Is any piece of it true? Instead of just crucifying someone. That's what we do now. If someone says something against our beliefs, we crucify them.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. And it's a shame, because when we shut people out, we just remain in this echo chamber of everyone who just telling us this, the same thing. And when there's no questioning of that information and there's no real scrutiny, which to my mind, there hasn't been that I've seen so far. Well, there are a few outliers, right? Like we're in the minority. I have to say, Angela, you do know that, right?
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing, right? Funded research results can be selected or discarded to support a predetermined conclusion. I mean, the best known example of this was big tobacco in the 20th century, right? I mean, everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
A company that hires researchers to perform a study, they might require the researchers to sign a non-disclosure agreement before they are funded. And so the researchers will waive their right to release any results independently. And then they release them to the sponsor, which Dr. Judy Mikovits abided this particular law, referring back to the topic. However, and this is the important part, right? Sponsors, they can fund several studies at the same time, then turn around and suppress results that found contrary information to their business interest while publicizing only the results that support their interest. And these are actually research institutes that we trust. Yeah.
One thing that's really important to me is perspective. And I think it's really interesting that you and I both were going through a medical nightmare around the same time. And you go down that rabbit hole, it's like deconstruction. You challenge a lot of things that you believe in.
Oh, yeah.
You were doing it with yourself personally. And for me, it was one of my children. To have a mystery illness that nobody understands and you get blamed for, and you're doing your own research, trying to figure out what's going on, and taking literature to the doctor and begging them. I think we both experienced something similar for a few years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, having major health problems, it sort of strips you down, right? Like that really down to sort of, you shut out everything that you've heard before and you're like, okay, I've got to figure this out on my own because my life is at stake here or my child's well-being is at stake. And so I've got to really dig into this. And so it's similar. We should be approaching anything that's this controversial, that strikes a nerve like this has. We have to step back and go, whoa, wait a minute. Just like you said, everything that you Googled came up. This woman is crazy. She's a lunatic, So,
and that one burns me really particularly because I'm a woman, and I know that women in science have a tough time.
Agreed.
And on a personal note, I went to a conference in order to try to help my kid, a conference with medical professionals about, at the time we were calling it PANDAS, and it's changed somewhat, I think, to maybe PANS or autoimmune encephalitis. But I went to the convention, and our champion, our hero, Susan Sweeto, was up there giving a talk, and she had a male counterpart who historically had disagreed with all of her findings. I mean, this is a lady who's laid her life on the line and gone to bat for these kids, Yeah. And we all had to sit in the audience and watch his arrogance as he dismissed her, and just the way he treated her was so rude. It was really hard to watch. And that, to me, I get it. I mean, I know that happens because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've done my own research. And even later, like, she wouldn't be able to put her full findings out. It was like black market information. Like, she would leak some black market stuff for her tribe just to give us a little hope. But she couldn't actually say that because she would be discredited if she told the truth.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, the majority of the online responses I've seen read coincidentally like opportunistic misogyny.
I know you've listened to some of the podcasts, but one of the things that's really important to me is that we have to be able to put everything on the table, and we'll take it off one at a time and we'll wrestle it down and we'll extract the truth. But this inability to tell the truth is going to be our demise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. We have to start questioning everything we know, really, and everyone we trust. I mean, essentially, what I'm taking from this and sort of a convergence of a handful of things that I've been exposed to since we've all been in quarantine and we have so much time, right, to dig into research online. I've come across a few other things, and then this, and then I'm just really sort of beside myself about it. I've basically decided that all of the news organizations and the people, the researchers and doctors and scientists and professionals that I've ever really given my trust over to, and just I was like, oh, okay, I hear what they're saying and that resonates with me, and they say enough of those things that resonate with me, and so I just decide, oh, you know what, from now on I'm just going to trust that or that venue or that person, and we never go back and start to and ever really question, oh, well, or check in, right, like what if what if they're not right, what if they're wrong.
Right. That is such an excellent point. I mean, I think your little tribe is so small, and even with them, you have to keep up the communication. But beyond your close people that you know and love and trust, I mean, you should question everything everybody says. Is this true? Let me take this down into my heart and see how it feels. Let me get some more information on this. But we should be allowed to ask those questions.
Yeah, but we are allowed to ask the questions, but people really don't ask those questions. I mean, the majority of folks, it's been my observation that most people do relinquish their trust, to entities that Dan never really questioned. And so,
well, it's like right now with the news, some people listen to CNN or MSNBC and some people listen to Fox, and they never cross lanes. That's dangerous. If you're not doing anything but listening to mainstream media, regardless of what side you're on, you're not getting it all. You're not getting the whole story.
That's right.
Not by a long shot.
That's right. I mean, basically what I've decided in these last, I don't know, really just several days is that I'm just going to forget. I'm going to forget that I ever trusted any of these individuals and these news media. And from now on, I'm just going to dig into what the substance of what they're saying, forget about all of the hyperbole and their own commentary and their own slant that they push, and dive into the subject matter on my own, because I have realized that really they cannot be trusted.
Yeah. We could go off in a million different directions there, but I wanted to, since we started with health, I think one other thing that was on my mind to mention was like the pro-vax and anti-vax debate. And I had a confrontation with one of my own children who had done some research, and I told him I can't say I'm pro or anti because I need to have a conversation with someone about it.
Many conversations about it, right?
Yeah, many conversations.
Yeah.
And that's not allowed. If you say you're hesitant about it, you're labeled conspiracy theorist or crazy person. And the terrifying thing for me is right now, I have one of my children who went through this medical thing. His immune system is shot and it acts in ways that are crazy. Like he overreacts to things. And he's been told by his doctor that he should not get his additional vaccines. He's older. So he was fully vaccinated as a baby. And he's not supposed to get the 7th grade vaccine or the one you get when you go to college because of his immune response to those.
Right.
And so just recently, some states have passed legislation that have taken away any religious out. And they've also told the doctors that they're very limited on who they can give exemptions to. And if they do it too much, they're going to send people to investigate and they might lose their license.
Right.
And my son's doctor, this specialist, everyone he sees, he probably tells that to because they're coming from all over the country because their immune systems are out of whack. And nobody else can tell them what in the world's going on. So this guy could potentially lose his license.
And how sad is that?
Yeah, he could lose his license if Texas ever, God forbid, were to pass such legislation. And it takes your freedom away. It takes your freedom away to know your child and protect your child in the best way you see fit.
Yes, absolutely. Which in and of itself is a shame. But then when you extrapolate that out to that happening to not just your doctor, but many doctors and doctor after doctor after doctor around the country, then you realize that public health is at stake. The situation with Dr. Judy Mikovits. If she's right, then it's not just the country, but it's the entire global population whose health is at stake. And that bears some questioning, right?
Yeah, this country is founded on freedom of speech and reliant on a free press. If we don't have a free press, we're kind of screwed.
Well, we are screwed then, Angela, because we don't have a free press.
You know, if that little documentary came out, there should be an army of foot soldiers that go and start digging and trying to figure out, is that true or not? And that should be everything that happens. And that's not how it happens anymore. You go to your side and they tell you what you're going to say about it and how to think about it. And that's what you report. People need to start digging around for themselves.
Yeah, ask questions. I mean, we have to start asking questions again. We cannot take everything for face value. That's lazy and it's dangerous.
Well, girl.
I know. How about that?
I know. We just lined up on that one. Hey, we'll have to come duke it out over some other issue.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, we're going deep, girl. We're still going deep.
Yeah, well, keep digging and let me know if you find out anything good.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Love you.
All right. Love you too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.